Hello, everybody. I'm very pleased to participate in this 6th World Conference on Integrative Medicine 2022. My name is Shin Lin, Lin Xin. I'm a professor in the School of Biological Sciences, director of the Laboratory for Mind-Body Signaling and Energy Research, and a member of the Susan Samueli Integrative Health Institute here at the University of California at Irvine. Today, I'll talk to you about the physiological basis of some of the health benefits of Tai Chi on the mind and the body. On the Harvard Medical School website, it says, Tai Chi is often described as meditation in motion, but it might as well be called medication in motion because of growing evidence that it has value in treating or preventing many health problems. First of all, we all know that Tai Chi and many types of Qigong involves the integrated integration of the 3 regulations. Regulate the body, the mind, and the breath. So I will talk to you about how regulation of the body and then the mind and the breath could affect mind and body structure and function. First, let's talk about regulation of the body with respect to muscles. Sarcopenia is a disorder describing the decline in skeletal muscle, particularly in old people, because they don't exercise enough, and this will contribute to loss of mobility and independence. Serious problem. In particular, elderly people are subject to falling, and falling is the #1 cause of accidental death of the elderly, directly or indirectly. There are many studies such as this one that shows that Tai Chi can reduce the falling incidence in the subjects being tested. Here in black, the bars in black shows the group that did Tai Chi has a decreasing rate of falling within the 6 months trial period compared to the group that did stretching. Small decrease, but not nearly as much. So you can see that Tai Chi can prevent falls in the elderly. In our laboratory, we use the technique of electromyography. We put electrodes on different parts of the legs to measure the activity of muscle groups, like on the top, on the sides, and at the back of the leg muscles on the upper leg and the lower leg. When a muscle contracts, we can see a signal recorded here that goes like that. And we can measure the intensity of these signals to see which muscle group is used a lot, or a little bit, or not at all. What we found was that during normal walking, these 6 muscle groups are used to this extent. But doing Tai Chi forward twist steps, the standard twist steps of Tai Chi, 拗步, moving forward, moving backwards, moving sideways, certain muscles are used a lot more than when you just walk or jog or even go upstairs. Which are these muscles? First, the hip flexors. These are the muscles on the side, okay, of the leg, upper leg. They're used a lot, and also the muscle on top. These are called the quadriceps, on top of the leg. These 2 muscle groups are used a lot more during Tai Chi exercises, going forward, backwards, and sideways, than walking or jogging. This is very important in this context of fall prevention, because the side muscles are your stabilizers. It keeps your body stable. And the top ones are your brakes. So when you fall, it'll prevent you from falling all the way to the ground. So doing Tai Chi could strengthen the muscles that have to do with stabilizing and stopping you from falling compared to running, jogging, or just walking. During those exercises, these muscles are actually not used much. Of course, doing Tai Chi is not just to prevent falling. Here we show that Tai Chi is excellent for exercising all major muscles of the body. So we measure using, again, electromyography, the use of muscles at the shoulder, the deltoids, the chest, pectorals, okay, the side of the body, oblique, deltoids again at the back, traps, the shoulder muscles, latissimus dorsi, these are the muscles running down the back, okay? So these are major muscle groups. And we looked at what happens when a subject does one of 20 some different Tai Chi movements. If a muscle group is used a lot, excellent exercise, we label it red. If it's very good, orange. Fair, which means still pretty good, yellow. And you can see across the board, red, orange, yellow. Oh, so all these Tai Chi exercises could benefit, all the major muscle groups in the body, not just on the legs to prevent falling. Next, let's look at connective tissues. Now, we all know that low back pain is a major problem for many people. 80% of Americans have some form of back pain during their lifetime. The American College of Physicians recommend Tai Chi for treatment of back pain. How come? This is a pathway that's been worked out at Harvard Medical School, and they found that when a body is stretched, the underlying connective tissues are also stretched. And within the connective tissues are all sorts of cells bound to the connective tissues, and the cells are indirectly stretched. Stretching of some of these cells, like a fibroblast, when they get deformed because of the stretching, they start to secrete a signaling molecule called ATP, the same molecule that's used for energy, but in this case, it's for signaling. So a stretched cell would send out ATP outside the cell, and the ATP could be converted to adenosine, and the adenosine could then bind to the so-called A1 pirinergic receptors locally to relieve pain and inflammation. So we now know at the molecular and cellular level how stretching could then eventually lead to relief of pain and inflammation. In our laboratory, we analyze stretching movements by using a computer method called the Kinect system by Microsoft, and we can convert the image of a subject into a digital skeletal diagram. Then we could objectively measure the angle, of the back and the legs and the arms, and the distance, from one part of the body to another part of the body to the ground. So we could objectively evaluate to what extent a person is doing these exercises correctly. We then measure, again, using electromyography by using electrodes to measure the extent a muscle group is used in a particular exercise, in this case, the lower back. In addition, we also put a probe in that area to use laser Doppler flowmetry to measure blood circulation at that point. In other words, if we exercise the low back effectively, we could see the low back muscles, they exercise, and then increase in blood circulation. So using these combination of methods, we show that these 6 exercises from Tai Chi and Qigong are quite effective in exercising the low back muscles and increasing blood circulation in the low back area. So in Tai Chi, you can see this is so-called twisted body fist stance, 铁身锤, here, okay. This is through back dodge, okay. This is 闪通背. Both exercises can improve the low back muscles of the latissimus dorsi by exercising them, strengthening them, stretching them, and also improve blood circulation in that, site. We also found that in this particular type of qigong called the 5 animals frolicking, 五禽戏, like the bear, the deer, and the tiger, they too can actually exercise the low back muscles a lot and improve circulation there. So what we can do is to advise people with low back pain and say, well, instead of spending half an hour doing 108 different movements, many of which got nothing to do with the lower back, why don't you spend that half hour doing these exercises, which will greatly strengthen and stretch your low back muscles, and that will help prevent or reduce back pain. So this is kind of like personalized medicine or precision medicine. Not saying that doing 108 different movements is not a good thing, but as a treatment, you can now do these exercises. Next, how about bones and joints? Reduction of bone density is a big problem, particularly as we age, and particularly for women. And there are many studies, such as this one, that show that Tai Chi could enhance bone health. Here, in a randomized controlled trial, Tai Chi group exhibited reduced rates of postmenopausal decline in bone density, bone mineral density. How come? Well, we all have heard many times, I'm sure, that exercise physiologists have advised us to do weight-bearing exercises to strengthen bones. So Tai Chi is not lifting weights, but you are lifting your body. Your body has significant weight. So doing Tai Chi, is a weight-bearing exercise. So it's not surprising that doing Tai Chi could actually improve bone density. In newer research, scientists have found that not just weight-bearing exercises are good for bone density, but bone vibration is important. So in this particular study, they found that when the subjects do jumps, jumping as high as you can, 10 to 20 times, 2 times a day, in that particular study, the subjects that did that resulted in significant gain in hip bone mineral density. So weight-bearing and bone jarring, vibrating exercises are good. And we can see here that particularly in the Chen style Tai Chi, there are a lot of bone vibrating jumping and stomping movements, as you can see here, jumping or stomping. And these exercises could strengthen bones in addition to the weight-bearing aspects of Tai Chi. How about knees and joints? Well, Tai Chi has been shown to be effective in treating knee osteoarthritis. In this particular randomized controlled trial, after 3 months, compared to stretching, the elderly subjects practicing Tai Chi had a substantial drop in knee pain and more improvement in function. As a matter of fact, the Sun style of Tai Chi, as modified by Dr. Paul Lam from Australia, who's also a Tai Chi expert, the Sun style is endorsed by the American Arthritis Foundation of America for people suffering from arthritis. Again, how come? Well, in this study done at Fujian University and Harvard University, first, they confirmed that Tai Chi and the Ba Duan Jin, Qigong, both could produce similar pain relief of knee arthritic pain compared to cycling, like cycling in a stationary bicycle at home or in the gym, which is a standard physical therapy treatment. So Tai Chi, 八段锦, and cycling are equally effective in reducing pain of the knee due to arthritis. But they went one step further. The latest research that they did showed that using functional brain imaging methods, they found that all three, Tai Chi, 八段锦, and cycling, affects the same part of the brain. Okay, all three activate same parts of the brain to pretty much the same extent. So that, interestingly, Tai Chi, 八段锦, and cycling, they work pretty much the same way in terms of affecting the brain, in addition to the joints themselves, in reducing pain, that is. Okay, next, let's talk about regulation of the mind. In our laboratory, we use electroencephalography, putting 108 different electrodes on the head to study brainwave patterns during a meditative state. So here is just sitting there, doing nothing, or staying there, just resting. But when a subject gets into a meditative state, there's a tremendous increase in theta waves, indicating that the person is deeply relaxing. Also, an increase in alpha waves, indicating the person is very, very calm. But there's also an increase in beta waves. So these are slow waves, okay, like 10 times per second, okay? And this is fast waves, like 20 sometimes a second, 20, 30 times. This indicates that the person is very much awake and thinking. Now, if a person is to fall asleep and sleeping deeply, you would get an elevation of theta waves and alpha waves, but not the beta waves, because obviously you're not awake when you're asleep. But when a person goes into a meditative state, such as a standing meditation, okay, or even moving meditation during Tai Chi, you get into a due state of relaxed concentration, a very unique state. And relaxed, of course, when you relax, you're not stressed. So it would be a way to decrease stress when you meditate. We confirm the resting stage of meditation by using photon migration spectroscopy to measure oxygen consumption in the forebrain. And you can see, starting from the beginning of the meditation, there's a very steady decrease in the consumption of oxygen in the brain, indicating, again, confirming, again, that during meditation, the brain is less and less active and resting, and burning less oxygen, as we can see. Okay, so what are the benefits of meditation? Our colleagues at UCLA found that in a clinical trial, the subjects who did meditation compared to not doing meditation, the meditation group had a steady decrease in sleep problems. Like they could sleep a lot better, not waking up or getting to sleep very quickly, okay, doing, in this case, like a 2-month trial. Also, okay, a decrease in fatigue syndrome, okay, if you can sleep better, of course, you feel less tired. And also a decrease in depression. So people feel happier, okay, when they meditate. So these are measurable benefits of meditation. Just as important, the same group at UCLA found that if a person is less stressed, stress is is an inhibition, is an inhibitor of your immune system. So they found that the Tai Chi group, the group that started doing Tai Chi, had an increase in immune marker. In this immune marker that they measured the level of antibodies to shingle virus. And you can see a steady increase in this immune marker. Particularly important in the elderly because they suffer shingles, right? And the control group, no change within the first 16 weeks. And at this mark, they got vaccinated to the shingle virus, and the antibody level went up to here. And you can see that the Tai Chi group, before they got vaccinated, they're already at this level or even higher. So you can say that, oh, wow, doing Tai Chi is as good or even better than getting vaccinated. But of course, they got vaccinated. They went all the way up to here. Now, you wonder, what is this dotted line? The dotted line is the level of antibodies in 30-year-olds. These are 60-year-olds. So you say, wow, okay, if you do Tai Chi and get vaccinated, you're back to like a strong immune response like 30-year-olds instead of a 60-year-old. Now, the group at Fujian and University and Harvard, they also found that the group that did Tai Chi and Qigong, Ba Duan Jin, had another change in brain function using brain imaging, functional brain imaging, so-called functional MRI, okay? And they think, okay, functional MRI. And they found that the group that did Tai Chi and the group that did Ba Duan Jin showed better connection between this part of the brain called the hippocampus and the prefrontal cortex, the front of the brain, okay? Why is this important? Better connection. You see, this is the part of the brain involved in storage of memory. This is the part of the brain that does the thinking. So this is analogous to like the hard drive of your computer, and this is equivalent to the RAM, okay? So better connection means that when you think, you can like make use of the memory, the facts and data in the memory, and you can use that for your thinking. So of course, better connection makes you function a lot better in terms of cognitive and memory tasks. I mean, what good is it if you have all sorts of data and facts, stored, but you can't use it? So in Tai Chi and Qigong, because you have to memorize so many things and make use of so many things, like, one movement after another, okay? This like, okay, first, you do parting wild horse's mane, brush knee, push hand, then you have to do like wide crane opening wings, and then each movement has all sorts of like intricate movements. You have to remember all these and one after another, so that will improve your memory and making use of the memory and controlling your body in a certain way. Now, we just talked about how vibrating the bones and weight-bearing exercises could improve bone density. Of course, that's very important because you don't break your bones. That's obviously very important if you fall. Now, there's one thing that's also very important. Stronger bones will secrete more of a hormone called osteocalcin. The osteocalcin can get into the brain, into the hippocampus I just talked about, like the memory center, and induce the brain cells there to divide to create more brain cells in the hippocampus. In other words, when you exercise, you vibrate the bones, okay? You put load on the bones, the bone structure is maintained or becomes better, and the bones secrete more osteocalcin. They could get to the hippocampus and induce cell division to make more brain cells. And these brain cells are involved in, as I just said, memory, but also improve tolerance to stress. When you exercise, you also contract the muscles, and you also have another pathway to lead to this type of results. So doing exercise in general, not just Tai Chi, but certainly Tai Chi, and particularly Chan style Tai Chi, could benefit in terms of not just stronger bones, but better memory and better ability to tolerate stress. So here, they show that the new brain cells are not just more, they're super brain cells. They're larger in size compared to the ones that are already there. They put out more and longer nerves, dendrites that connect to areas of the brain that are involved in memory. So this has been shown that you create not just more cells, but better cells when you exercise. And you can show that in a clinical trial, those people who exercise do better in executive function, in the test of executive function, controlled function, spatial memory, speed of calculation and thinking, and memory recall across the board. You really benefit from exercise. Finally, let's talk about regulation of the breath. In Tai Chi, Qigong, we breathe slow and deep, okay? Slow down to 6 times, 4 times a minute, okay? Deep, instead of regularly using only 25% of the capacity of your lungs, go to 80% capacity of your lungs. Why is that a good thing? In addition to just, improving the amount of oxygen coming into the body. Well, the latest research showed that in our breathing pacemaker, okay, here in this diagram, here's the whole brain, here's the brain stem, and within the brain stem is the breathing pacemaker. So diagrammatically, you can see the brain stem, and then the breathing pacemaker. The latest research showed that there are at least 3 different types of brain cells in the pacemaker. So one type of brain cells have to do with nervous sniffing. When you're stressed, you go like that, okay? Another type of brain cells are associated with sighing, okay? Like when you're nervous, you say, oh, yeah, oh, 完了, oh, OMG, oh, okay? And then a third type of brain cell has to do with slow, deep breathing, like what you do during Tai Chi and Qigong. These cells are very special. They're connected directly by nerves to another part of the brain called the lucus coeruleus. This is the part of the brain that has to do with stress response. When you're under stress, this part of the brain will send out adrenaline, okay, to make you respond, to run faster, but your heart will pump faster, blood pressure will go up, and so forth. But if you breathe slowly and deeply, this response could be turned down, okay? In our laboratory, we could show that we make people get stressed by playing a video game called the Slenderman. This is a very stressful video game. And when the subjects start doing this, their heart rate would go up. But when we tell them to continue to play the game, but now with slow and deep, the heart rate would come down. Blood pressure would go up when during the game, but continue the game, but deep blood pressure will come down. So we can show that indeed slow, deep breathing just by itself could really relieve some of the symptoms of stress in almost instantaneously. So in conclusion, modern research can dissect out the physiological basis of many of the healthful effects of Tai Chi in terms of the three regulations, regulating the body, the mind, and the breath, and how these regulations affect body structures and functions, leading to all these beneficial effects. So thank you very much for your attention. If you want further information or any questions, you can email me. My name's Shin Lin at uci.edu. And we also have a website that you can look at. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.